Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marilyn Darling Show. Today I'm talking about what you should possibly bring to your first fountain pen meetup or club meeting. So, the first things that you should probably bring is yourself. That's the most important thing. The second thing is that you're gonna want to make a list. My favorite application at the moment is this here app. It's called To-Do. It's a Microsoft app, and it's basically a checklist app. You make a list, and then you put in a whole bunch of things of the things that you want to bring to your club meeting. So that's the first thing. Then you go and you want to make yourself kind of a sort of similar list of things that you might need while you're at your club meeting. And one of the first things that I thought of when I was making my list, the first time that I went, was I wish that I'd had some wipes. So get yourself some of these wipes. They're at Walmart. You can get like a 3 or a 5-pack for like under $10. And then take them out of the housing and put them in a plastic baggie so that they're easily accessible. Because the worst thing is you don't want to be fiddling around with the bag and trying to undo the thing to get whatever's on your hands, because by that time it's too late and you've got crap everywhere. So I have several baggies full of wipes, just because you never know when you're going to need it. I needed one just now because I got some schmutz all over my hands, as you can see right there. And these take off a good chunk, but not all. Hi, Chris. How are you doing today? Okay, so, let me see. Wipes. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna tick off wipes. I'm gonna tick off wipes. Alright, the next thing that you're gonna possibly need is some fountain pens. You getting ready for a pen meet? Yes, I'm getting ready for one tomorrow. This afternoon I came home from work and I made some banana upside down cakes, so I hope that they like that. So the second thing you're going to need is some fountain pens. You don't have to bring your fountain pens, but if you do bring your fountain pens, some good advice that I can give you is fountain pens. Putting that in, adding it to the checklist. Now you want to bring some fountain pens that maybe have a little bit of your interest. And also bring some empty fountain pens with you, because they're gonna have an ink station. Well, they might have an ink station, and if they have an ink station, you're gonna find a lovely person like me there, their ink master, to guide you along the way of how to fill a fountain pen, how to clean a fountain pen, things like that. So bring some clean-ish pens and some full pens that maybe have a little bit of interest. So, fountain pens. Check. The next thing that I have on here is an Inkapet. So if you have some sort of stand that you can put your ink samples in, bring those. And now you're not giving these things away necessarily unless you want to do that. This is all subjective to you. I have this cute little one here. I have this cute little one that I was gifted from Liz Benson Cox. They come in all shapes and sizes. And this one here is an octopus, and you can get it at Inkapet. If you search for Inkapet, they'll come up with this little cute little friend. And they're relatively lightweight, you know, they're not going to break. This one I got from Daiso. I got a whole bunch of them. I still have a few. I have this one. I have this little polar bear friend. So, yeah, these are really helpful for when you're trying to, if somebody brings a bottle of ink and they want to like give you a little sample, that they can give you a little sample easier by not having to fiddle around with two open containers. Okay, the next thing that I have on here is an Allied Armor ink bottle holder. So, if you don't have one of these, you can go to, or you can search for Ink Buddy. I think you can search for Ink Buddy, and you can go to Allied Armors on Etsy, and you can order one of these bottle holders, and they come in all shapes. This one is for the Diamine Inkbank calendar. Oh, I don't have any tiny ones here. And then they have this, the slightly bigger one for the 30 ml Diamine calendar. They also have one for the huge Diamine bottles and Monteverde bottles. And they also have one for a Ferris wheel press. So they have all of the little ink. They're pretty good, well-made plastic pieces. I believe they're 3D printed. This one is UV resin cast, and this is like a 3D printed cast. So they're really nice. So I definitely need to remember to bring those. All right. The next thing that we're going to need some tweezers. Why would you need a set of tweezers, you're asking? It is easier to open a bottle and dip your tweezers into the vial, into the vial, and do a quick little swatch than it is to dip you could use a dip pen, but this kind of gives a little bit wider of a line. So, and you could get like a good word or two out with just that little dip. So bring some wipes and then you could just wipe them off. And then you're ready to dip again. Of course, your tweezers may be a little more cooperative than mine are. While I'm thinking about it, so bring some tweezers, check. The next thing that you're going to need to bring is either a little cup. You can make it plastic, one of those Dixie cups. Bring some Dixie cups, or a jar. Bring some jars, so that way you can put some water in it and use the water for rinsing off dip pens and such. That's really important. I'm going to rinse my cup just really quick. All right. So, the next thing that you're going to probably need is a bottle of water. So, bring a bottle of water with you. Bring a bottle of water. So that way, just in case the venue doesn't have any water, that way you can use it in your cup to clean off your dip pens with. So, the next thing that I wanted to mention is the dip pen. They come in many shapes and sizes. This here's my glass dip pen. You can bring your glass dip pen, however, just be aware that it's glass. If you have a glass one, just be aware that some people aren't really familiar with these tools. So if you have the ability, you can buy a very cheap set of dip nibs that come in like a little blister pack like this. Little blister pack like that. It says Speedball Calligraphy Pen Set. And it might have some nibs in it and a holder. So that way you can hand it to somebody and you won't have to really worry about them breaking it. Or you can bring something like this. This is a Kakamori dip nib. And you can have a wide array of... you can have them do it thin, or if you tilt it down a little, or if you really want to give it to them, tell them to tilt it way down so that they can make a really thick line. And that's really good for swatching. What did I do with it? Oh, I threw it in the trash. Let me get another wipe. You never know when you're going to need a wipe, let me tell you. Who remembers the show Monk? Anybody? I remember after I went to med school, I was Mr. Monk for a little while because I was always having wipes on me. You never knew when you were going to need a wipe. Okay, so dip nib, check. Water, check. Glass dip pen. You could have glass dip pen. Check. The next thing you should probably bring is maybe if you have a couple of these cheap brushes, you could get like a cheap set like this. They come in like a red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple set of brushes. So that way, in case you want to do a swatch and you don't want to like use a dirty nib or whatever, or you have a specific, some of this one comes like with a chisel tip. You could do like a broad edge calligraphy with it, and you could just swizzle it in the water after you're done with it. So maybe bring some brushes with you, or a brush with you. Alright, check. Paper towels. Okay, so you're going to want to go down to the 99-cent store and get you like 8 of these little rolls. They're just cheapy, so that way if you have a nib and you want to dry it off right away, because if you use a wet wipe, it's still going to have that kind of soapy water on it, so you're going to want to dry it off before you go and dip it into things, because the wet wipes will make the ink wetter. So you want to make sure and have at least 2 sources of cups of water. One for dirty water, and then you dip it in the cleaner water, and then that should get it pretty much, cleaned. So cups, paper towels, a loop. You should probably, if you don't already own one of these, this is called a loop. It's a magnification device, so that way you can look at the end of a pen and see very clearly if the nib is aligned, if the tip of the nib is aligned. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, can't do it. But you can definitely see with your eye if the nib is aligned or not. Is this one aligned? No, it's a little off, but that's okay. So, bring a loop, and these are relatively cheap. You can get them on Wish.com for like $7. Tape. You should, if you have some washi tape, break out my big old bucket. Bucket of tape. You could bring stickers. I have a bucket of stickers. I have like a whole plethora of ephemera. Bring your ephemera. Like if you're interested in like moving it along, bring your ephemera. And these little packing slips, keep the packing slips, because if you make a mistake, then you could just tear off a little piece of this packing tape and put it right over that and write it. Or you can use it to put on labels for ink vials too. But yeah, bring your stickers, bring your ephemera. If you have some, these are ink blotting papers, bring your ink blotters too. Okay, bring tape. Let's see, I can't remember exactly the reason right now for the tape. Dang it, I can't remember. I write these things down and then I forget why. Like, everything is for a reason. I'll get there tomorrow and I'll be like, God, I wish I had brought the tape. Alright, so, anyway, bring tape. Bring your shimmer inks. If you're interested in sharing your shimmer inks, bring your shimmer inks. Bring some, and if you only want to share a little bit, put them in vials, and, most places will have like a little section of inks. They'll have, one of these little situations where with all the inks in it, or they might just have them in a homemade device. You guys have seen my device. I made these out of quarter rolls and a cereal box. And some hot glue. So, bring an ink sample holder if you have one. The other thing is, bring empty vials. If you have vials, or if you have ink with like that much ink in it, and you're like, oh, it's not enough to put in a pen, then you can do an ink down. It's not gonna hurt. Maybe take a piece of watercolor paper and just do little bloops all over a piece of paper and make it into some art. These are some of the ones that I'm going to be giving out at the OC Pen Club. I made this into a piece of art, and I made this ink down into a piece of art, and this one, and there's one more in here, and this one. Isn't that cool? So yeah, maybe make some art with your leftover ink samples, so that way you can have some ink samples, some free ink samples, to take some ink. If there's ink there, and you can ask questions. Just ask people questions. Go up and be like, "Hey, how are ya? I'm looking for some name an ink," and they will help you. They will help you look for some, and if they don't have any, or if they can't find any, that's the thing too. Is sometimes people come to the clubs looking for specific ink, and then they can't find it. So the other thing that you want to bring are the sample vial covers. So these are little labels that. Oh no! I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Smoke alarm. So, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So, bring some empty vials and bring some labels, so that way you can make a little label to go on the outside of your sample in case somebody brings a bottle of ink. So bring, a bottle, let's see. Bring a bottle of ink. Alright, then bring sample vials. If you have ink that you don't want, and you have like more than a milliliter of it, bring that too, because you never know. Somebody might want to do some ink with it. So bring sample, bring some shimmer inks. These are little hole reinforcements. Bring some hole reinforcements. Hole reinforcements. These are the little things that go on the top of the ink vial, so that way you can get a good idea at a glance what colors are what. For example, you can kind of see from afar that that's an orange ink, that's a purple ink, that's a blue ink. Okie dokie. So bring some hole reinforcements and bring some labels for the sides of it. So if somebody brings a bottle and you have an empty vial, they can put some ink into the empty vial, write you out a label, and put a little topper on top of it. Okay? So, oh no. Hole reinforcements. Okay. Vial labels. Vial labels. If you have a few extra pennies, I highly recommend the Dormouse's Discs ink sample vial labels. They come with a vial label and a reinforcement, and they're made of very durable, high quality materials. And she also does just the vial toppers too. Hi Brett, how are you doing? Happy Friday. Is this the party? I wish. I mean, if you and Chris are here, it's a party. Okay, what next? That's all that I have on my list. However, there was one other thing that I was thinking thoughts about. Oh, bring a treat. Bring some treats for yourself. Bring a snack for yourself and some water. Because you never know if it's gonna be, if they're having it at a restaurant, then maybe bring $20. Yes, bring extra cash. Bring extra cash. So just in case, Alexa, stop. Just in case there's you're at a restaurant and you know maybe you want to have a taco or whatever is there. Or a beverage, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Paper towels. If you don't have paper towels, extra paper towels, maybe you can bring some toilet paper, because that really works well too. Let me think. So, bring some empty pens. Bring a few, pens with you that are full of ink. Well, maybe not full of ink, but you know, something to let people. One of the things that you need to understand is people are going to want to play with your ink and they're going to want to play with your pens. Now, if you don't want people playing with your pens or your ink, leave them at home. That's all there is to it. Do you put your stuff in a backpack? So, I have a buggy. I'm just going to pull my phone out to show you because it's going to be. I have a push cart. And I will put all my stuff in the push cart. When I am, hopefully before the end of tonight. And so if you have a backpack or a car, it's more easier to do things, that way. You could put things in your back seat. You can put them in your bag. You can put them in a basket. Let's see. I mean, you don't have to bring a whole roll of paper towels, just bring a small amount with you. Now I'm thinking about putting everything in a bag. Oh. Bring cough drops. I know it sounds weird, but bring some cough drops with you. Now this is why. Sometimes people will have these events at someone's house, and sometimes their houses are very dry, or sometimes they'll have them in a medical office and the air is very dry. And the last thing you want to do is be coughing all over everyone's pen. Bring cough drops, bring a mask, at least for now. So bring a mask, bring hand sanitizer, Oh, bring a book. Bring a journal. Now, here's the thing. You can bring... I wouldn't bring your, Hobonichi with you, but if you have, a CVS near you, go pick up some CVS caliber notebook paper. If you have a Dollar Tree, go get you a Jot journal. If you have a Target, go get you an Up and Up, composition book. Get your favorite paper, or take your favorite paper with you, because, I'll tell you this, the last couple of times I brought the crappy Unison composition book, and it bleeds so bad that you can barely even tell what ink is what, and it feathers like crazy. So if you want to play with ink, bring your favorite journal, because then you can get a good idea of what the ink is going to look like on your favorite journal, and you won't have to depend on other people's journals or other people's stuff. And sometimes we'll do a little presentation. Somebody will come with journals or inks, or they will come with little tablets. This was from the Pelican Hub. The nice lady brought Nemesine spiral bound notebooks. I got a huge spiral bound notebook of Nemesine. Where is it? Anyway, it's on the bottom. But or sometimes you will find a person that is showing you how to use one of these type of devices to smooth your nibs. So they might have somebody doing a small presentation of ink or paper, or something that has to do with fountain pens. You could bring some Post-it notes, but I would highly recommend you bringing something that you can write on, and maybe even bring a pencil. This was a gift from pen friend Matthew, and this is like a vintage little pocket ring top pen, and you might just want to write down a little tiny note. What else? If you have any necessary medications that you need for like anaphylaxis, bring those. Bring some mints. Mints in case you run across somebody with bad breath. You never know. And a polite way of saying that your breath stinks is, here, have a mint. And if then they go, why does my breath stink? You go, no, I just want you to have a mint. I wouldn't use lotion if you're going with the intent on playing with fountain pens. Now, I'll tell you this, the reason is because some of the pens are going to be laid out and they're all going to be vintage. Well, most of them are going to be vintage. And people like to touch the vintage fountain pens. And if they're sticky, that's not cute. So maybe keep your hands dry. But, like, just not, like, maybe put lotion on after you leave. Mints, journal, sanitizer. Bottle of water, bottle of ink. Maybe bring a Goulet grip with you, or sometimes you can go to the 99-cent store. And you can get a whole bunch of these. A whole rainbow set of these grips. And if you know how to, only do this if you know how to. If you know how to pull a nib and feed so that you can wash it. And always make sure that you have, like, control when you're washing these things, because 9 times out of 10 they don't have a drain guard. So, if it doesn't have a drain guard, do it over one of these. And only do things that you know how to do. If you're not comfortable pulling a nib and feed, maybe have somebody else do it. Or if you're flushing a pen, a bulb syringe. Bulb syringe. Bulb syringe. Yes, a bulb syringe. That's important. Also known as a child booger sucker. You could bring a bulb syringe. You could also bring maybe 1 or 2 blunt end syringes with you. Blunt end syringe. If you have some pen flush, you can bring pen flush. If you have an ultrasonic cleaner, you could bring an ultrasonic cleaner so that maybe you could have a cleaning party. You should probably also bring the extra finest ballpoint that you can find. So extra fine ballpoint. Ballpoint pen. Now, I'll tell you the reason why you want an extra fine ballpoint pen is because when you're writing on some of these cheaper Office Depot style labels, if you do it in fountain pen, it just spreads, it bleeds and feathers so bad. At least when you do it with the extra fine Muji or like a what is it called? Pilot Friction. If you do it with a Pilot Friction pen, then you should be able to read it. Or even like a normal Bic, you know, some sort of ballpoint pen. Ultrasonic cleaner, pen flush, blunt syringe, bulb syringe, a pencil. Did I say pencil? Pencil. You should could bring a pencil. What else could you bring? If you have like a dinky dip, you could bring a dinky dip. Now, I'm not saying that you should bring any of these things. You could just show up and have a lovely time talking to pen people. I've seen people do it. And there's some people that will be there who are, of course, you know, relatives of somebody who is into the fountain pen hobby who has never even seen a fountain pen in their life. So you can have the privilege of introducing it to them, which is always a plus. That's when I really come alive. I get super excited and I'm like, oh my gosh, you gotta try this, you gotta try that. And like I said, if you don't want to share your pens with people, maybe leave them at home. But maybe have a little folio about, you know, yay big, and, you know, kind of have them out so that people can look at them. And I have never heard of anybody stealing anybody's pens. So, I don't think that that would be a problem. But there are going to be people that are going to be like, oh, what is that? Oh, that's a neat looking pen. And then you can take it out, you know, unscrew it and hand it to them. And they can be like, oh, wow, that's a nice pen. Oh, that's heavy. And then be like, is it inked? And if you're not sure if it's a flex pen, always ask first. And then you can do a little test on your thumb, and you see the white, you see the little pink part here? If you do it and it turns white, then and there's no flex to it, you'll know that that's not a flex pen. However, if you do push your thumb and it spreads apart, see how it's spreading apart? You'll kind of know that it has a little bit of flex to it. And if any time that you feel, just be careful when flexing with people's pens. You don't want to push it all the way to the max because you might break the nib. This is a Fountain Pen Revolution Ultra Flex nib. It can be pushed a lot, but you want to make sure not to press it too much. Also, if always ask, you know, ask questions about your people's pens. Ask if it's a gold nib. Ask them if it's a, you know, if it's a steel nib. Ask them if it's ebonite feed. This one is a Hongdian N8, and it has an ebonite feed, but it really doesn't look like an ebonite feed. So, I mean, you never know until you ask. So try and ask as many questions as you can, especially if you don't know something about somebody's pen. And there's going to be some vintage pens out there. And, you know, they're going to have nice long, flexy looking, and sometimes they look flexy and they're not. See, that one's barely even flexing. And then other pens are going to be like, whoa, that's super flexible. Whoop. Whoop. So, try not to use too much pressure. Yeah, the N8. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful fountain pen. I was really sad, though, because on the listing it said that it was a piston. It was a piston, but it's not a piston. It's a cartridge converter pen, which it's fine. It's fine that it's a cartridge converter, but I really wanted a piston pen. It's so beautiful. Look at that chatoyance. And you already know what ink I put in this one. That's definitely Ferris Wheel Press Maple. Algonquin Maple. Pretty, right? I didn't want to... Well, I didn't buy it because it didn't want a piston filler. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful pen, and it accepts normal Yovo-sized nibs, which is nice. Contraire to my newest pen, this was such a disappointment. I bought this pen because it has a piston, but the nibs barely fit inside the cap. They like rub up against the inside of the cap. See? So annoying. Yeah, I can let you borrow this one if you want. I'm not currently using it. Yeah, I was really sad at this N1S. It barely has enough room to hold the nib it came with. Such a disappointment. And you'd think that it being a piston filler pen, that it would be able to take a normal size nib, but this is a Yovo nib and it stops just short of where it's supposed to. Anyway, I'm rambling. No, I just made sure to get the converter model. The converter is it's not a standard international. This is a reinforced nipple. This is like a Lamy style reinforced nipple. So it's got a better ink flow than normal standard international, which is really nice. I didn't think I was gonna like it because it wasn't a piston, but it has a beautiful flow. I can use it with a flex nib and it works just fine. I really wanted their green piston model, but after this shenanigan, I might have to buy it because I don't like this nib. I don't like this pen. So sad. It's such a beautiful color, but the nib not fitting inside the cap is a bummer. We're here for rambling. Oh boy! Then you've come to the right place, because I sure like to ramble. Alright, so Dinky Dip, pens, maybe bring some of these old, what's the word? Hi Lau, how are you doing today? Rambling for the win. Yes, exactly. What is it called? My brain is tarting out really hard. Pen case. Pen sleeve. Like these cheap pen sleeves that come with pens. I have like a bucket of them in my... I should take those. I'm going to put that on the list. Pen sleeve. Pen sleeve. Bring some pen sleeves. Maybe there's going to be a lot of people there. Well, there might be a lot of people there. And there might even be some free pens. So maybe take some pens that you don't want, or that you think would possibly go to a better home. I am definitely going to take some of my Jinhaos that I don't use anymore, because they're just sitting here collecting dust. Unless Chris wants them. Or unless anybody else wants them, for that matter. What else? Bring spare parts. If you have a nib that you don't want, if you have a feed, like a Jinhao feed that you don't want, or a cartridge converter that you don't want, bring those. Cartridge converters. Bring, ow, I just smacked my pinky toe into the stupid chair. Bring these. Everybody has one. Everybody has a bag of cartridges. Bring your loose cartridges. Loose cartridges. I'm a bit sick. Oh no! I hope you're gonna feel better soon. Maybe have some soup. Have some soup and watch some TikTok. That always makes me feel better. Like a pen swap meet. Exactly, exactly. You're gonna find that there's all kinds of people. And I've met people there that just give me things, which I am so grateful. Somebody gifted me this Pilot Prera. That's like a $35 pen. And they just gave it to me. So nice. And it has a cursive medium nib on it. This is like one of my favorite pens now. I didn't think I was going to like it because I thought I had the Wing Sung 3003 and I thought it was too light. But for some reason, this one feels more substantial. This one feels like a real pen. The Wing Sung 3003 was like a toy. And it had an extra fine nib, and the nib, like, broke. Anyway, rambling. So, bring extra cartridges that you don't want. Basically, bring the things that you don't want. Because somebody there might want them. You put the medium on your Kakuna. Oh, yeah. It's a nice pen. It's such a nice pen. I love it. I love that cursive medium nib. And I was thinking thoughts about putting my broad nib on it. Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm glad that I got this Pilot broad nib when I did, because you can't find them now. It's a stub broad nib. It's like a stub and it doesn't have any tipping on it. Such a nice pen. This is a Pilot 78G Plus. What else? What else? What else? Bring some journals that you don't want. I was gifted this pad from Pen Friend Sharon, and I love it. This is like one of my favorite pads now. I write just rambling sometimes, and it makes such a wonderful little treat for someone to have something to write on. So maybe bring a little tablet if you don't want it. I put a yes. That's good. Yes. What else? What else? What else? I'm trying to think. Oh, maybe bring some pipettes. Bring some pipettes that you don't want. Because those are good for making ink splotches. trying to think what else. I have this new. This is a glass stirring rod, but I find that it makes really good for doing swatches. Just doing swatches on paper. So, I mean, like, if you think that it's going to be useful, maybe bring it. Because you never know what might be useful to one person. Have I left anything out? Can you guys think of anything that I might have forgotten? Pens, ink, paper, cartridges, reinforcements, ink, sample, vials, pens, empty pens, paper, bulb syringe, glass dip pen, some sort of other dip pen, paper towels, toilet paper, wipes, loop, don't forget your loop. You could also bring some cotton swabs, but these are kind of commodity these days. I think you're already packed most of your house. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm not taking most of these things, but I'm just giving you guys an idea of the things that you could possibly bring to a pen club to make it better. So, what did you think about that? Are you guys thinking about going to a pen club meeting? Have you been to a pen club meeting? Did you bring any of these things to your pen club meeting? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So, that's all that I've got for today. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Oh, I did forget one thing. Cots. If you go to the pharmacy, you can find these little finger cots. These are excellent for doing like a hot nib swap. If you have a pen and you want to swap it with someone, you just put some of these on and open your pen and you pull the nib and the feed and you're off to the races and you won't make a mess. Of course, I'll probably make a mess because that's just how I am. And then you can put your pen back together. Pull the first one off. And then you have still clean-ish fingers. But I mean, if you're going to a pen club, you're probably going to get messy. So don't wear your bestest clothes, but wear something that you wouldn't mind getting dirty. Maybe bring a smock. Chris has a smock. What are they called? Oh, like, yeah, an apron. You could wear gloves. Yeah, these are called cots. C-O-T-S. These are finger cots. F-I-N-G-E-R-C-O-T-S. Yeah, these are great. You want me to send you some? I can send you some. I have a few. Also, one more thing. Pill pouches. If you have some extra pill pouches lying around, you can use those to fill up an ink sample. And then you can put the sample inside of the ink, inside of the pill pouch. So that way they can put it in a purse or a backpack and they won't be afraid of getting messy with it. Alright, well, I think that I have gone over everything. If I've forgotten something, please leave the comment in the section below, because I am always trying to learn and share what I know with everyone, and you guys always teach me something new every day, and then I have to go buy more things. So I hope that that helps you go buy more things. Alright, that's all I got for today. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope that you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the little bell. Make sure it's set to all, so when I upload new content, YouTube notifies you, and I will be back very soon with another video. So take care until then, and tomorrow I won't be around until about 5 p.m., so take care until then. Oh, good love you, bye. Have a great day. Good night.